All right, super coaches, this is the week that we're all going to go absolutely bonkers. I still haven't got 1,000 yet, 999 last week, and that's going to improve. And it's all going to start with the terrific buy, hold, risk it, and sell that we're going to go through here. And we'll kick it off up top in our hooking position. And the clearest buy of the week here in this position is very much Api Coruscant. I think if you've got Lustig, guys, he should bounce back. That game was absolutely wild. So I would suggest against trading Lustig, because if you can get anywhere near like a 60 one of these weeks and can get that average back to 50, still got another 100 or so K to make. And I do think it's probably a mistake to trade him out in this one. Obviously with Moses being out, potentially Cartwright being out for a little bit, it does make the Eels a slightly lesser side, but I do believe that Lustig can still do well here. That SuperCoach game was disgusting for both teams. So yeah, you're looking at Hopgood under 50, Cartwright got 20 odd, Lane got 35. Like, it was pretty yuck across the board. So I don't think trading out Lustig is the play. This week, the two best ones, Api Coruscant, he's going to make his first lot of price rises. So he's sitting in a really, really good spot with a super low break even there if you pop him in that one. That does look pretty good with a nice 93.5 average, that is. And he's someone that I'm looking to target personally. And outside of him, Reece Robson or Reed Marnie are the other two. Obviously, Reedy coming up and doing really well against a terrible Titan side shows there that his average is a little bit inflated by that 96 on the weekend. And then Robson just continues to put try assists on, and it's very hard to select him 51k more expensive than he was, and that's where going Api cheaper than all the other two of those options is the play. I also wouldn't be selling Harry Grant this week. Yeah, he's lost 37k. A lot of people will be looking to buy him in the next few weeks. So he started a little bit slow, hasn't got the try assist or tries that you're needing from Harry. He just has the one line break, I believe, and he should bounce back as well. So outside of that, guys like Brandon Smith, I sold last week. I still see him as someone that's, obviously 47 with a try assist is pretty yuck. Like, if you take that away, it's a 27. And that was a last-ditch effort to get that try to Teddy there. And he's not scoring great. So I do understand if you want to go him up to Api, that's a good trade as well. Outside of that, anyone that fell into Silva Havili last week got absolutely pumped, and Mitch Kenny scoring okay as well. You do see Jacob Little come back in this one also, but just remember that he's very up and down with his scoring. So let's move on to the front row forward now. And guys, in my side, I'm pretty happy with you guys buying as well in Terrell May and Liam Henry. Very, very clear options. I've got Totola in there myself, and I think he's a hold. He's not someone I'm super excited about, and I'm actually tempted to start Liam Henry over Totola this week. And if you're looking at front row forwards to buy, you do have Adam Fanua-Blake up there at 754. I think he's a guy that if you started with, awesome. Outside of that, you hold off buying him. Same with Barlow there. Jack DeBellin, a much better game for him with a 70. I still think that he's again, if you started with him, sweet. Cotter, he's a hold this week. Hazleton, he should have to step up into a bigger role as well. And at 406k, I've seen worse front row forwards you can start with, especially when he has try scoring upside as well. But the main issue is his buy next week, so it's a hard one to target for sure. If you got Mac King, you're holding on. Tapine, I think you're holding on as well and hoping for better. He's had a bit of a slow start, averaging 50 for the year, so expect a little bit of improvement on that front. And well done to anyone who started with Lindsay Smith as well. He's made 20k and done a good job so far. Griffin Neem got a try. Leo Thompson out for a week as well. Frustrating. Did make 8k. 47 is his average. I think you can hold on him. If you don't have like a Liam Henry, then I think he's priority one this week in the front row forward position. You can start him for a couple of weeks with Fisher Harris out. You should expect a 40 plus from him, which is pretty much what you expect from all the guys on this list. Jason Taumalolo is a sell. Thomas Flegler, if you're looking for another guy, it's Terrell May, Liam Henry, and Tom Flegler in the front row forward position. It's as simple as that right now. And I wouldn't be looking anywhere else, I don't believe. Toby Rudolph's a sell. Gofusi is a hold. Stefano obviously got the 67 in this one, in the early 40s for the first game. So I don't expect him to dominate like that each and every week. So, proceed with caution. Davy Moale, if you started with him, it's not great. I do think a pivot to Liam Henry is the play. But again, do you have enough trades to be able to use across this week. And the good thing, obviously, in SuperCoach, guys, is that you have 25 players in the team and 17 need to be on the park. So if you have a lot of issues, then you can make those trades accordingly, and you probably don't have enough space to do sideways trades like that. Well, it's an upgrade, but for guys that are playing compared to those that aren't, to have a look at that. Tino is obviously a sell this week, sadly, with the ACL that he's done there. And Alex Twal, if you did start with him, then at 5.14, there's many better options before he loses some money when he comes back. And yeah, that price is a bit too much. So that's the front row forward. It's probably not a super important position. If you got Hughes, it's just a hold, but it's not great on that front there. If you're looking at the 2RF position, guys, there's a few options here. I do have Kai Paul already. I grabbed him in round 2, so that's helpful there. Josh Curran I bought as well. I don't see him as a buy this week. The minutes that he'll get in random weeks, a little bit low, under 50, which is not great, but he still manages to score well with a 52 there. With all the issues at the moment, I'm going to have to hold both for more Smithies. Whether we have to play him or not, we'll find out after our trades. I haven't made any yet. I'm likely boosting as well this week. Guys, if you can try to not use a boost, if you can just use 2 trades or whatever you need to do this week, then that would be helpful. But I do understand that a boosting may be necessary. Even, I think with my boosting this week, I've still got a few guys that are out, like having Tuapiki, Pikura, these types of guys. And the issue here, not having Galvin in the 5/8 position, we'll get to that in a sec, but yeah, annoying at that. So anyway, Pikura, you can sell or hold. It sounds like it'll be anywhere between 1 week up to 4 weeks. Once the swelling goes down, they'll find out, but physio said likely it's just a lateral ankle sprain, and that could be anywhere between just this 1 week and could be a little bit further than that. Obviously up to the 4 weeks. But if he's back in 2 weeks off and then back then, I think is likely, then he's probably a hold, but I do understand selling as well. Smithies we're not excited about after that 38 and Horsburgh coming back. Not in the starting 17 yet, but yeah, Smithies, hopefully a better score from him after that 48 in round 1. It's been down and down the last 2 weeks. For our 2RFs, yeah, Kai Paul is the cheaper option that you should be looking at purchasing. You've got Finne Firiaki in there as well at 322k, who made 30k last week. He did get a try for 57. He's not a must-have in any way, shape or form. You've got Satili Tupanua in there while we're here at this price point. That him at 401k, he's not a clear priority trade out this week, but yeah, up against the Panthers, I don't expect him to be scoring or setting up tries, and will be a trade out over the next few weeks, but still made 3k, so happy days on that front. Let's go back up top. It's a hard situation here because Hosking was the buy last week, made 90k and got a 52, but still just under 60 minutes there. Long term, I don't see him being a buy now, but I think he's a hold for the next couple of weeks for sure. And I think you can play him as well. Coming up against the Sharks, there's no reason why he can't get any attacking stats as well. So definitely has some upside on that. In this 2RF position, it's hard though up top. I don't see any real clear buys. Like, you look at Isaiah having a buy in a couple of weeks, hurts him. Hopgood, a bit up and down. Like, he could go nuts again this week, but he's had 2 lower scores and then the 100. Teague Wilton, again, up and down with the buy next week. Ola Kawatu, a down week for him. I think he's probably the best expensive 2RF buy. Outside of that of Pat Carrigan, who we expect to play 80 minutes and just get 65 to 75 in base each and every week, which is awesome. So they're the 2 kind of priority trade-in targets. You've got Keelan Kolomatangi in there. I think Cartwright you can hold or sell. Not a problem with that. If you can move things around and get Cartwright down to a gun center wing, then that works perfectly. And then Eli Katoa, a solid buy, I think, in round 5 or 6. They have Broncos, I believe, in round 5. So, yeah, someone to look at in that more expensive bracket at 650. But, you could just go to Ola Kawatu this week. Preston doing his job. If you own him currently, or Tohu Harris, you're just holding steady with them. Madison should do a little bit better, maybe a few more minutes if Cartwright is out. But don't expect Cartwright to play massive minutes either. If you're looking down the line, as I say, Kai Paul is a play. Eisenhuis made 37k. Don't buy him now. Sean Lane is a hold or a sell. I think there's probably bigger issues in our sides at the moment, so have a look at him either way. Yeah, just when I say hold or sell, if you got a trade that's perfect for you, then that's something you can do as well. Definitely in that one. All right, any of the Tigers guys we want to look at, you've got Isaiah Papali'i, who Yo's had a decent start. He picked up a try on the weekend as well. Forgot about, there he is, 568. So he's averaging 69. He'll make a little bit of cash this week up against, Para. Did have to score a try to get 71 last week, but we know that those type of scores are in his realm. And he's definitely not the worst pick at 568. If you're looking at that with the Tigers, definitely looking improved on the weekend. I've got Burbo here, may as well speak about him. I think he's a hold and hopefully a better play this week up against the Dragons. He might be able to pick up a try himself and score a little bit better, closer to what he did in round one. But yeah, I wasn't excited to play him at all last week. Wong, it looks like to sell guys at 462. He's not getting close to this side, even with Lindsay Collins out. Luciano Leilua will pretty much hold, I reckon. This week he'll get a 50 odd and hold steady. So outside of that, both for more, as you spoke about, is a clear hold as well. So let's leave the two RFs at that point and move on. It's not really a super exciting position, and the center wings is the more exciting position at this stage. So that's where you probably want to be looking. All right, guys, up to you. If you do want to sell Cleary, if you have Hines, I think it's a little bit difficult, right? So a lot of people are looking at selling Hines. If you do have Hines, you would be taking in, if you held Cleary, you'd be taking an automatic emergency next week. And yeah, that could be low, obviously. And that allows you to do some like vice captain looping and stuff like that, obviously, potentially. If you have any Sharks in your team outside of Hines. Actually, you can just captain Hines there next week. But that's kind of the worry there, that if you don't trade him out, that's what you're dealing with. If you don't have Hines and you already have like a Brooks or something like that, in terms of options for your half-back position, Brooks is the number one at this point. And then like you're looking at guys like Ben Hunt. Townsend's made some money. I wouldn't be going for him. Then you're looking at Foggs and Johnson, all guys that I wouldn't be looking to select at this point. Johnson's losing cash and averaging 46. He'll be cheap eventually, and he's not one to look at right now. Sam Walker will be there, but he's on the cash losing spree as well. So for our halfbacks, there's really no one of note that you should be targeting. So if you do have the ability to you either hold, get Brooks, or move him to a center wing somehow, would be the play. So, or to a 5/8. If you got Brooks down here, you can move Brooks up into halfback, and you can target a Dylan Brown or something like that. My issue now with the 5/8 position, which we'll get into the center wings that you can target as well in a sec, but the 5/8 position, I want Lockie Galvin, but I have Metcalf and Brown, and who do you trade out? And there's someone else message into SC Playbook and ask this exact question. They have Metcalf and Brown. They want Galvin. What do you do? And I will be selling one of them. Who is the question? Because Metcalf's making some money. He's kicking goals at the moment. He's averaging more than Brown as well. But we know Brown's pedigree. We do know he scores very well without Moses as well, given when he's the main guy. We know that he's a keeper long term. We don't know that Metcalf is. And he seems to be getting a try assist or a try on a weekly basis at the moment, and scoring pretty well with that goal kicking as well. But what happens when SJ takes that goal kicking back? If he does, that's the question. Can he go down to, instead of a 62 with a try in this one, it's down into sort of the high 40s range with a try, and that's not great. So I can understand just the selling of Metcalf. I can do the trades I want to either way. So that's probably where it goes on. We may as well just trade Metcalf and keep Brown because he's a keeper long term. Metcalf, the Warriors have a fairly decent run coming up over the next few weeks as well. So there's that to think of for me. And in this 5/8 position, as I said, it's really only Brooks that's pretty solid. Dearden scoring tries and setting him up on a weekly basis. Had a fairly nice run to start. He's averaging 67, so he'll be solid. But longer term, do you want him as your guy? Galvin's obviously the play in 5/8 this week. And also Max Plath. He's someone that is down here at 278. If you already have Galvin, if you want to go Max Plath as well, then I wouldn't push away from that either. I think he'll be able to score pretty close to 50 and make some good cash, 150k or so. But Galvin's the first guy on the list. He has more upside in attack, but both those guys are the only 5/8s I'll be looking to target unless you're holding in that position, and that's completely fine as well. For the center wing, so this is an interesting position. I do get Zach Laybuck back, and I wouldn't push anyone to buy him. Rogers a really good buy this week. He's one of the cheaper options at that. Taylor's a hold. Burbo's a hold. Hutcho, I said you can move him up into half position, which is what I'm going to be doing. Tuapiki, if you have a lot of other issues, you can hold. But I do think that I do think that Chance is back next week. And if he's not, does Rogers stay or does Tane come back for one more week and you can get one more price rise out of him. But that 35 does cook things a little bit. Strange as a hold, it's not great, but that's this position at the moment. But let's say you did want to trade Tuapiki. If you are trading Cleary, then the top guns, I do think Holmes is still the guy. You get him all the way to round 13, where he'll be a hold or a sell. You can decide what you want to do, but he can go up a lot of cash over the next few weeks. So he's going to have that 144 in his range for a few more weeks now. He's the guy averaging 102 that looks incredible, goal kicking, exactly what you want from a center wing. You also get that from Garrick, 753. I do see him as a pretty high priority option, and I would have him ahead of Isaac Tungo just because they have a bye coming up. I'd have him ahead of Ronaldo, and I would have him just ahead of Lomax, even though he's a little bit more expensive. Lomax I have, I believe, third on the list, along with Hamaso, Tabuai, Fido. They're the top four at the moment if you're looking to buy. The Panthers guys have their buy in round 6. The other guys that I'm talking about don't have any buy coming up in the near future. So that's where they become good options. Obviously, Garrick and Holmes being goal kickers in good teams. That's a big win. Same with Lomax as well. That's why they get the top 3. And then Hammer is down lower, given he's only played 2 games, but he's the one that's going to have the good price rise this week and averaging 86 there across his 2 games. So, and he's cheaper. So he's a 600k guy. Next on the list, I have Dom Young at 640. The main reason he's not higher on the list is because of Panthers this week. So if you want Dom Young and you're happy to look past this week against the Panthers, yes, without Cleary, without Sorensen, without Fisher-Harris, they'll still be good. Roosters will be good all year. Dom Young, a really good option at 640. Would you go Hammer over him? I think just. He's got the dual position as well, so things go belly up in that way. You can go for him. And Dom's a little bit more expensive than that of Hammer. So that's my top 5 at this point, with Roger obviously there, and he's the cheapest of the lot. But I do think the other guys have a bit more upside. Roger just is going to be very consistent and exactly what you need in this situation. There's so many options here. You've got Selwyn Cobbo, you've got Carraz, both guys averaging 69 and 70. Carraz obviously the massive one this week and was low before that. I do have the other guys way ahead of Carraz at this point, but still a solid one. And then Talakai was up there on that list, but he has that bye next week. So, not going to be great on that front. Geordie Raps, how long he keeps the spot for with keeping Chevy Stewart out, playing well. I don't think he wants to play fullback all year, so he'll lose that at some point and go back to the wing, in my opinion. So that's the more expensive center wings at this point. You can also look at someone like Blaise Talangi. It's definitely an option. I wouldn't go for anyone in this mid-tier. May's a hold, probably not a buy at this point. Penasini, you're holding him as well. Rocco Berry, you're holding if you started with him. Same to that with Sully. I think at 476, he's probably going to lose a little bit over the next few weeks. And if you don't have any other big priorities, then you could move him on. But I think other than that, he's a hold. Kohler, very frustrating one at that. Down at 537. He'll have his games where he goes nuts, but that 23 on the weekend really hurts. He's a hold. If you do want a cheaper option, guys, Jack Bostock is the play this week at 314k. He's coming off a really good 70 odd. If he can score some tries or do something against the Titans, get a line break and the like, he'll make sort of 60k or so this week if he can get a 50 odd, which would be cool. So he's a really solid one to pick this week. Farnworth will leave him for now. He's a bit too expensive. If you started with like a Sean Russell at 420, I do think he's a sell if you can. But Tuapiki obviously might be ahead of a few others. Dylan Lucas, if you're still holding on to him, there's 3% that do, then he's a sell. Not making this side, and he's too expensive to be just sitting on your pine. Seb Chris was solid. He's a bit expensive for my liking. Ewan Aiken I wouldn't be going for in SuperCoach. Fantasy, slightly different story. And then, it's Blaise Talangi from there is the only clear other option in that one. Obviously, after his try on the weekend, was very helpful at that. So where is he? Is he not? Don't tell me he's not in. There he is. 204k. I missed him. So 67 last week. He obviously has only played 1 game, so you can wait 1 more week on Blaze, but he could be a really good downgrade. If you just have to sit Tuapiki or someone you're not too excited about on your pine at the moment, then Talangi could be a good downgrade next week at that. So that is that situation. And then the fullback situation, guys, pretty much everyone is a hold in this position. You've got Turbo and Ponga, both really good guys to own. Trbojevic is the clear captaincy option this week, in my opinion. You can go for like vice captain on a Val or something like that. Teddy up against Panthers, I think it'll be a bit harder for him to score in a really good way. Pap, look at him in round 5 or 6 for sure. Latrell, you're holding on if you bought him, like I did in the head-to-head squad. Drinkwater in a good position now, down a little bit, 26,500 after his good score on the weekend. Expect him to continue doing well. And then Hammer, you can obviously select in the fullback position or the center wing. But if you do have Walshy, which 16% of teams did, or it was probably more, then I do think Tommy Trbojevic is the play. He's gone down a little bit of cash. He's a good captaincy option. He hasn't really exploded yet, which we expect to happen soon. Ponga is a clear buy in the next few weeks as well, who I've still got at 826. And then you can also wait and go Pap next week. Teddy killing it. Yeah, there you kind of few options, and Scotty Drinkwater. They're all good. No one's a clear standout outside of Tommy, in my opinion. And I think we'll leave our buy, hold, risk it, sell there on that one, guys. Let me know if there's anyone I missed or whatever. Then message me there. But most of us are putting out fires this week, and I do think trying to improve your team as an overall and make some money, especially if you're in my situation, Hines, Cleary, Trbojevic, Ponga, Brown, all losing money, trying to get some cash making potential from either these mid-rangers or guys like Appy who are going to go up this week. All these types of players are really good options. Galvin, try not to miss out on Galvin, given he'll go up a fair bit, just to make sure that you're not losing out too much on the cash generation perspective, and you'll have a good week from there. So thanks for being in here for the super coaches that are there. It's a big bounce back week. We're going to go nuts, and I'm excited for the week ahead, considering we do have 17 on the park, and it will be a pretty solid 17 at that. So thanks, guys, and we'll see you in the next one.